Today we're diving deep into one of the rarest and most exciting machines to ever come out of Japan, a car that most enthusiasts only know by reputation because it was never sold officially in the United States, but its legend still carried across the ocean and captured the imagination of gearheads everywhere. I'm talking about the Nissan GT-R SpecV, a special edition of the already mighty R35 GT-R, but taken to another level with weight reduction, performance tuning, and exclusivity that makes it one of the rarest JDM models enthusiasts still dream about. Let's start with the design. At first glance, you might mistake the SpecV for a standard R35 GT-R, but on closer inspection you'll notice subtle details that tell you this isn't an ordinary Godzilla. The front bumper is redesigned with larger cooling ducts, while the grille and some aerodynamic pieces are finished in a unique dark chrome treatment. The car also came with a special shade of paint called Ultimate Opal Black, which gave it an almost chameleon effect under different lighting conditions. It wasn't just a cosmetic choice, though, because Nissan wanted the SpecV to stand out as a collector's model. The rear remained instantly recognizable with the iconic quad-circular taillights, wide hips, and that aggressive rear diffuser. What really sets the exterior apart are the wheels, lightweight forged 20-inch raised wheels, finished in a black metallic tone. These wheels alone shaved crucial weight off the car while enhancing strength for track use. Carbon fiber is another big story here, with the rear spoiler, grille, and brake ducts all crafted from carbon to save weight and add a race-inspired feel. Overall, the exterior didn't scream at you with huge wings or outrageous modifications. It whispered confidence, with every detail aimed at performance and exclusivity. Step inside and you'll notice the same philosophy. The interior of the GT-R SpecV was stripped down in certain areas to save weight but still retained a sense of luxury. The first thing you'll spot are the bucket seats. Instead of the standard GT-R's heavier power adjustable seats, the SpecV used lightweight carbon fiber Recaro racing seats wrapped in a mix of leather and Alcantara. They were slim, supportive, and focused entirely on the driving experience. Alcantara also covered much of the interior, including the steering wheel and door panels, giving the cabin a race-ready vibe while still feeling premium. There was less emphasis on comfort features. You won't find rear seats here, because Nissan removed them entirely to reduce weight. That decision alone gave the SpecV a true two-seat supercar feel, more in line with European exotics than with the GT-R's usual 2+2 layout. The rest of the cabin kept a similar layout to the R35, with the multifunction display showing everything from boost pressure to lap times, but the SpecV carried subtle badging and trim accents that let you know this wasn't an ordinary GT-R. Now let's get into performance, because this is where the SpecV really earns its reputation. Under the hood sits the same 3.8-liter VR38 DETT twin-turbocharged V6, but for the SpecV Nissan didn't chase big horsepower numbers. Instead, they focused on fine-tuning and response. Officially, the engine output remained around 478 horsepower, similar to the standard GT-R at the time. But Nissan added an exclusive high-gear boost control device that temporarily increased mid-range torque, giving the SpecV an explosive punch during acceleration without overstressing the drivetrain. The car felt more alive, sharper, and more responsive on track. The suspension setup was also reworked. The SpecV came with carbon ceramic brakes borrowed from the GT-R race car program, offering incredible stopping power while reducing unsprung weight. The suspension was tuned even stiffer than the standard GT-R, making it far more focused for track driving. Combined with the lighter wheels, removal of rear seats, and use of carbon parts, the overall weight dropped by roughly 130 pounds compared to a regular GT-R. That might not sound like a huge amount, but when you pair it with the precision of the tuning, it completely transformed the driving character. This was a GT-R that felt sharper, faster to respond, and much more hardcore. Acceleration was still blisteringly quick, hitting 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3.5 seconds. Top speed remained in the 190+ range, but the SpecV wasn't about straight-line numbers. It was about how it felt through corners, how quickly it could brake, and how precise the steering feedback was when pushed to the limit. The car was built for enthusiasts who wanted a pure experience, not just bragging rights. Of course, this kind of exclusivity and engineering came at a steep price. When the GT-R SpecV was launched in 2009, It was priced at around 15 million yen in Japan, which translated to about $160,000 at the time. That was nearly double the price of a standard GT-R. For a Nissan, that sounded crazy back then. But the reality was this car wasn't meant to be a volume seller. It was a halo product, built in extremely limited numbers, only about 40 to 50 units were ever produced. That scarcity is what makes the SpecV a unicorn today. Even in Japan, they're nearly impossible to find, and if you do, the prices on the used market have skyrocketed. In the United States, where the car was never officially sold, importers and collectors who managed to get their hands on one can easily ask well over $300,000 today, sometimes much more depending on condition and mileage. So who was the SpecV really made for? It wasn't for the casual driver who wanted a fast car for weekend joyrides. This was for hardcore enthusiasts, track junkies, and collectors who wanted the rarest and most focused version of the R35. It was Nissan's way of saying, here's a GT-R that's closer to a race car than a road car, but you can still drive it on the street. And in that mission, it absolutely succeeded. Even today, more than a decade after its release, the GT-R SpecV still holds a special place in